This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It's a new year
and a new season.
20 Pandemonium isn't just a page.
It's a family.
A passionate group of positive Buffalo football fans
who embrace the character and fight of this team.
We strive to embody this passion
and present a fan-first perspective
without all the fluff.
Enter
the K-Gun Report.
Season 2.
The first season was exciting for 24/7 Buff Fandemonium.
Talking football, connecting with fans, and having quality conversation.
This season we're stepping it up, and we want you all to come be a part of the conversation.
On March 9th, 2021,
the K-Gun Report
is back.
Let's go, Buffalo!
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bills fans, welcome to 24/7 Buff Pandemonium presents the K-Gun Report. I feel like I just muted out there. Did I mute out there?
Nope, you're good, buddy.
24/7 the K-Gun Report Season 2, Episode 35. I'm Jarrod. Joining me tonight, we have Swank,
Yo.
Scott, hey, and special guest Mark Maddox will be hopefully showing up pretty soon here to join the party, and we're going to push his Help One Foundation. Scott, you have a little bit more about that foundation if you want to let everybody know.
Yep, we'd love for Mark to be able to tell us a little more about it. Hopefully when he comes on he can. But it's a 501 nonprofit organization that's basically doing things for kids again. It's coming up with programs to help give them money to go to camps that they can choose, helps give them a lot of opportunities that they normally wouldn't have. Again, the charities and the foundations that we're helping out with are all kind of the same as far as helping children out that don't have the opportunities that they normally would. It's Help One Foundation. You can find it at
I'm on it.
www.helponefoundation.org. And then you can also, they do back to school drives. They give kids backpacks, they put supplies in that they would need for school. They do Christmas bowling events. And they also do youth adult camp drives. Again, it's the help fund for these kids who normally would be able to go to kids camps and all that stuff to be able to attend those things. So, if you check out the image, hopefully Swank's got up, we will have on my Venmo information, my CashApp information. Anything counts, for sure. Anything counts as far as donations. And us at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. If you donate, we sign you a number, and then we'll do a random number generator before next week's football game to see who wins a Mark Maddox jersey. So you donate, you help the kids out, you help One Foundation and Mark Maddox, and you also get yourself entered in for a chance to win a Mark Maddox jersey, which is pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. Oh, hell
All
yeah.
right, so we're working on some audio here. I know the Pandemonium can't really hear us.
It should be good now.
Swank's on top of it.
Should be
He's
good.
getting on top of it. So
Hey,
pretty much.
there's a yeses.
we're all
Yeah,
here.
all right.
So Scott, I don't know. I just want you to do the Help One Foundation one more time, just quickly. I know you said it already, but now people can hear you.
Yeah, it's a foundation that Mark Maddox came up with a bunch of years back, a Help One Foundation, basically giving to kids, underprivileged kids that normally wouldn't have the opportunity to attend like kids camps. They also help with giving back to school drives, filling up backpacks, buying backpacks, filling them up full of the supplies the kids need. They do Christmas events. And they do obviously the camp events that give kids the opportunity to go to camps of their choice that they normally wouldn't be able to go to. So it's Mark Maddox Help One Foundation. You can find them at www.helponefoundation.org. And yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. And if you donate,
Yep, you can donate. Donate to us 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. You'll see the Cash App and the Venmo information on the screen. What we do is we take on all the cash. We keep track of the names of the people donating, and we'll do the random number generator to find out who wins a Mark Maddox jersey at the end of this all, and then we'll send a lump sum to his organization.
It's right there.
There
It's right there. Look at that beautiful graphic that your boy Scott Reed made. Wow.
You like it?
You're so good.
All right, guys. So, actually, let's do this really quick. We haven't done this in a while. Pick a card, any card. These are free, Pandemonium. You all know that. But if you want any, personal message us your name and address, and we'll send them out to you for free. There you go. I just want to show something off really quick, too.
It's like an MTV, like an old MTV rap video. Yo, 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 yo.
I'm enjoying
Yes,
it.
let's get Steve Tasker in the freaking Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We could debate about it. We're going to come up with a debate that's going to win all the time. The guy, when you say special teams in the 90s, you know who exactly we're talking about. We're not talking about Renee Thompson from the Giants. We're not talking about Devin Hester. We're talking about Steven Tasker.
That's right.
So come on. Let's celebrate his career in celebrating this year at Canton by raising a toast to his celebration at winning the Heisman. Just kidding.
Hey,
I'm thinking Canton, Ohio, the Heisman. It's not a Heisman. It's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Mark was asking, he said, I'd love one. I don't know if he was talking about the stickers or the koozie that Jarrod had. But the stickers, you can just PM us your address, and we'll send you for free. The koozie, you just have to follow this cool guy on Twitter. Steve Tasker should be in the Hall of Fame. Is that like his whole handle?
It's put Steve Tasker in the Hall of Fame. That's the man you're looking for. It's got a nice picture of Steve Tasker in a Pro Bowl uniform. He's the guy that has the koozie. So if you're interested, find him on Twitter.
Go get him.
Go get him.
On the twit.
There we go. All right, guys, our Buffalo Bills hosted the Miami Dolphins this past weekend. It was a different kind of game, but we came out with a 26-11 score. If they would have hit 27, I would have won in the 27 club. So them going for 2 kind of put me in a little, but hey, a win's a win. Who needs an extra $100 anyway, right? No, but so guys, good, the bad, and ugly of that game. Swank, I'm going to lead with you. What'd you think?
I mean, it was a tale of two halves, right? So, I know that there's been a lot of people that have been dogging Dable all week, and when I say all week, I mean the last 3 days, and I am definitely one of those people. I thought that the game plan was not working. I was just sitting there thinking about all the times that we've been like, why don't they throw a screen? And then I saw 30,000 of them and was just like, for the love of God, no more screens, dude. Like, throw the ball down the field. My drummer Jay was hanging out, and we were talking, and he was just like, is there something wrong with Josh Allen's arm? Why aren't they throwing it down the field? You know, that was like a legitimate conversation that we had just sitting on our couch. And I'm like, I don't think so. He bombed one down to Emmanuel that was defended really well, right? And I don't think he could have put any more air on it, or else Emmanuel would have been able to catch it. Like, it was just a really good defensive play. But that was like a long I don't think so. I think that Dable just gets twisted up into his game plans and trying to outsmart everyone, and this is what you get. Now, we call him Walmart Dable. My wife coined the phrase, man. Sometimes you go into Walmart, you find a great deal, and you're like, wow, I love Walmart. Sometimes you go in there and you're like, what is this cheap piece of shit? And I would say the first half was the latter, the cheapo Walmart Dable. But then the second half, man, they leaned on part of that game plan from the first half, and it started working. You know, so maybe wearing him down and doing what he was doing was working, but he opened it up more. They were throwing the ball down the field a little bit more. They're getting bees involved. Like, you know, it was Tommy Sweeney came up and caught a couple nice balls. All of a sudden, you know, you get people thinking, was this execution based? And I would say no. I would say that line missed Spencer Brown. I think that the O-line missed Spencer Brown more than anybody really realized they were going to. So I think that he is a good addition to this offensive line, and I think that they just played quicker. You saw Josh's frustration on the sideline, man. You know, but with all that, like, I think the D balled out. I think they played another great game. That we actually saw where the defense had to bail the offense out for that first half to keep them competitive, and then Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, which is going to be a shirt. That should be a shirt. Josh Allen
Just
does
doing
Josh Allen things. What you
All
guys
right, I
think?
got confirmation. Matt Hallman, he's the guy who sells these koozies. It's at HOF Steve Tasker. That's where you find him on Twitter.
Yeah. Good dude.
So
All right,
I want to throw this out there. I want to thank Daboll or Josh Allen, whoever it was, that listened to the Friday night football frenzy that I did this Friday night. And thanks to all those that tuned in. It was a short little 15, 30-minute thing that I did. I plan on doing it more often on Fridays, just to recap the week and then get a little bit more information in before game time. But the question I had, the big one, was who's going to fill in for Dawson Knox? And with, Stephon Diggs only having 6 catches and Emmanuel Sanders not having any, thank you for my fantasy football team. Everything I said, they kind of made true. I said it's either going to be Sweeney, Gabe Davis is going to show up, or they're going to use a lot more Beasley. And between those three, 17 catches, 160 yards and a touchdown. I didn't verbatim say all that stuff, but it's something that you definitely saw the lack of presence of Dawson Knox, but those guys filled in the void pretty good. I thought they did pretty good. Beasley finally came out. I love that he said that about the Twitter. Him getting rid of his Twitter account was taking so much weight off his shoulders. I think that's awesome. And, I think what was getting him the most was just the negative comments to him. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong, but I think it was just overwhelming. So him getting rid of that just took away everything, which is awesome because now he's balling and he can pay attention to the Buffalo Bills football. But someone I want to throw out there who 2 tackles, 1 for loss, but wreaked havoc. And I am glad to see this guy starting to show up on that defensive line. Ed
Big
Oliver.
Eddie. He knows it too.
If you guys look at the stats, you're not going to see what Ed Oliver did. If you watch the game, you watch how he blew up a lot of those double teams. He was taking care of double teams. He was getting in the backfield. He was disturbing. He had 3 quarterback pressures. And when they consider a quarterback pressure, it's either incomplete pass, turnover, whatever. He was effective. And I love seeing that. And the guy was hyped the whole game. So that was the good for sure. The good. And then Bass is still doing his thing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we
57
talked about it
yarder.
earlier, right? Switching up the field. If you can get a guy getting 60-yard field goals, that was good from 70. I don't know if you saw how high that was going.
Oh, yeah,
to,
it was
but
definitely good,
Scott,
another 10 yards.
Bass has been wow. It's good to have somebody that can do that for your team.
That big boot boy.
There it is.
They say the
Sorry,
only kick he's missed is 1 field goal all season.
Yep.
That's amazing, man. He's leading the team in points again. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, and you go back to how he started, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people calling
now
for his
he's-
head week 4, right?
Yeah. He's 23 for 23 for extra points, and I think he's 16 for 17. I think close to 93 or 94% kicking. So
He's on pace to being the best Buffalo Bill kicker ever in the NFL, and he's on pace to being one of the best kickers in the NFL in just his second year.
Yeah.
Love
Dude,
it.
he's got like
He's
that
confident.
quiet swag about him too. Like they talk about Diggs has talked about that before. But even after that, like he kicked that big field goal, he just like the way he walked away, the way he was slapping people up, it was just like that kind of like tough little guy like confidence, and I love it, man. Yeah, it was almost like the billionaire dance, right, with the hands behind your back. Yeah, it was sick.
Well, the thing is you can. I mean, if you're good at reading people, you can tell when somebody's acting cocky. You can tell when someone's not confident, and he's just got that thing about him that he's not being cocky. He's just really, really confident. He knows he's going to make that 60-yard field goal if he has to, and that's what you want in a kicker. And obviously, that whole thing about Josh Allen, how McDermott said he'd go 10 out of 10 times, try that quarterback keeper. Pretty sure if there was a 66-yard field goal, 67-yard field goal at the end of a game, and for some reason Bass misses it, that'll be the same comment that McDermott comes out with is, I will do that 10 out of 10 times with Bass.
Oh, definitely.
Bass has the confidence, and the coaching for sure has the confidence in him.
I think there's a little cockiness in that, though. I think you got to
Yeah,
have
maybe,
that, but
maybe.
we'll see. It's not like Grammatica cocky where both twin brothers jump up and pull hamstrings in the same week. Not that cocky, but
Hey, Jarrod, when you're having fun, it's hard to tell how good you're doing, how good you're playing.
yeah.
That was Ed Oliver's quote after being told that he wreaked havoc.
And you mentioned that he was very high energy, and that's something that I know I'm going to go back to a player that Swank really loved last year with our kick returner there. Oh my gosh, I just forgot his name.
Andre Roberts.
Andrew Roberts. He'd bring it up the field, 40, 30, 20-yard kicks, but after every play, he was hyped up because he knew he could go farther or all the way. Ed Oliver has brought that energy this year. That's a little bit different than last year, that he is wreaking havoc, and I think 2 penalties negated good plays in the backfield that he had. So he's going crazy, and it's awesome to see. And that's just going to bring everybody up. Everybody's going to come up with that, especially the younger guys.
Yo, Paul.
Tremaine Edmonds is looking awesome. Tremaine Edmonds is all over the place. He's looking fast, more confident than he even did last year. And I love how the announcers reiterated that, hey, this guy's still only 23 years old. He's still got a lot to learn.
Hey, Paula Brown was saying that she has not received her stickers yet, and John Johns said it's on a ship in the ocean.
Paula, I actually sent them out a little while ago, but I'll send a new batch out for you.
Yeah, give her another day or two, see if she gets them.
There you go.
Well, they should have been there within 2 to 3 days, and that was like a week and a half ago. But I'll send you a whole other
Stuff's been backed
stack
up, man. I'm building this supercomputer so that we don't have these stupid little audio issues and all that stuff anymore. And my parts keep getting pushed back a little bit. I'm waiting for one more part so that one of my nerdy friends can put it together, and I just can't wait.
Did you hear that, Pandemonium? Swank's getting a brand new computer set up just specifically for this stuff. So you're going to be able to see our blue and green eyes even better. Huh? Swank, brown?
Blue.
Blue
Why'd you say that? You say I'm full of shit, bro?
Sorry.
You're full of shit, boy.
Right, I want to throw this out there really quick because we haven't yet. Also, as I'm doing this, guys, if there's any other comments out there, just interrupt me. Welcome, Buffalo Spartan. As usual, Laura Burlingame.
There you go.
Josh Cook, Debbie Emerton, Mike Gilmer, Ellen Lartz, Brent Thomason, Shelby Ducato. That's, I think, the new name. Welcome. Let me see if I missed you. Scott Reed's here, apparently, on
Hey, guys.
talking with Gilmer.
Dude, is
Diane
that identity
Thomason,
theft?
David Hoffman.
Yeah, we got
There you
Chansey over on YouTube, and he said, I like this. For people that think Bees is getting booed, I saw a Miami fan about to get his ass whooped when he cheered because Bees got hurt. The Miami fan left immediately. Just saying. I think that there's more people in those stands that love Bees than are upset about whatever bullshit he's talking about or was talking about on Twitter. So when we were at the game, it was my experience. It was a Bees thing, and I know this has been going back and forth like for weeks, and it's getting old and stupid. And I hope that he knows how much we love him. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe when he came here. When the John Brown news broke, I was like, oh. And then when they signed Cole Beasley, he literally is the only Cowboy, I think, in my whole existence where I was like, that dude is a badass. Like, he is this scrappy, little skinny, blonde-haired boy just going over the middle, taking it like a champ, like, tough as nails, and, like, literally the only Cowboy I think I've ever cheered for, and I am so glad he's a Buffalo Bill.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
For sure.
That is the truth. All right, what we got?
Well, what do you think, man? What's the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly, dude?
What's good and the bad and the ugly? Well, obviously the bad I thought was the first half play selection, like you guys mentioned. Walmart. But I gotta give props to the ability of the Buffalo Bills to adapt to a second half and change it, and I thought that was great. Sometimes you miss that at the Bills games. They don't change. And I've said, and we've all said from week to week, that even when you're winning in the NFL, you have to change the game plan throughout the game or even over the second half. I think DeBall said earlier today or yesterday that this is the NFL. You know, we always say that as well. It's NFL. Any given Sunday, these are professionals making money. You can't have plays specifically for every scenario that you see. It just doesn't happen. You'd have 175 plays to pick from, and it's too much. So to be able to adapt to any team and to figure stuff out on the go, that's what's got to happen to be successful. And you have to learn from mistakes. And another thing that was said earlier, I think today actually as well, I think McDermott said it, was the fact that it's nice to have 35-0 games, right? Or 52-4 or whatever the score is going to be where you're blowing them out. But you're going to build your team confidence, and you're going to build your team's ability to rely on each other when you're trying to figure out how to beat a team and it's close, and you're scrapping to try to make plays work and come together to have a successful drive or a successful stop. That's when the team builds the most, because now they can start to rely on each other and be like, okay, he's going to be back there. He's going to be over here. We got to come together. We got to come up with a plan. We got to push the plan that the coaches put together and be successful together to be able to progress and become a better team. And I thought that was an awesome statement. It actually gave me goosebumps today when I heard that, the fact that, you're learning from the mistakes. And that's what we've said after the bye week. You learn from your mistakes, and that's the best way to learn. You learn most with those. So that's another positive, was the coaching. And obviously Bass hitting one from 57. That looked good from 70. That was good too.
Dude,
Ellen Lartz wants to know, the trade deadline passed at 4 p.m. The Bills did jack squat. Ellen, I want to know what you kind of move you think the Bills should have made.
well, she was responding to somebody that was asking about bees getting traded. So I don't know if she expected a move, but maybe. I guess with that kind of jack squat language, maybe. What did
I think she wanted something to happen. I've seen a lot of things on Twitter and the Book of Face saying Feliciano's a garbage guard, and for the Bills not to move him around shows that they're not Super Bowl caliber yet. I don't know those comments. I don't know where they're coming from. I think I stepped in one of those comments earlier. I came in.
Shit comment.
the color of my eyes?
It's one of those things.
Yeah,
the Bills don't have to make the moves just because you say they should. They signed this guy for an extension. They obviously think he's got the goods to help him get to the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what, Cody Ford stepped in. When his number was called up, maybe seeing some bench time. I mean, Josh didn't get sacked that whole game. So you can say what you want, I guess. I'm glad they didn't make any moves. I did hear, however, that they're going after Von Miller. Yeah, they expressed interest. So at least, but that's a very Bean thing to do. I think that he would do that regardless. I think if anything besides a quarterback was up, which I say that, but they got Mitch Trubisky. So he says he'll explore every option.
So this is my feelings about the whole. I was obviously sitting there waiting until 4 o'clock came around to be like, okay, nothing happened. Think about it this way. At the beginning of the season, we all praised that we thought our depth chart was pretty damn good from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
There's been talk about Trubisky going, Beasley going, and other things happening where they're getting rid of players or trading players this last couple of days. The Bills are in a position where they can be like, all right, you want Beasley? We want a first rounder and something else. And if you can't handle that, then, oh, well, we got Beasley still.
Yeah.
Von Miller. We'll get Von Miller for this. Oh, you don't want a Von Miller? You want to go to the Rams? Nah, whatever. We're good. We have what we want. We just want an extra little piece. So Bean knows what he's doing. It's not like he wasn't trying, but he also knows who he has on his team. And
he also knows to throw up smoke too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Addison and Hughes, who are the only two guys that got a sack this past week. And then you have 3 defensive ends that we drafted, 2 in the second round and 1 in the first round in the last 2 years. He's not going to go out and spend that kind of money on Von Miller. That was just smoke.
And what would he do?
Von Miller's he's a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Yeah.
He wouldn't fit the scheme.
Yeah. Who do you want to sit so he can play? You know what I mean? And he's not going to be bench depth. Right? I don't know, playing out of position. It doesn't make sense. I'm glad that they blow smoke. I think that that's awesome. I think that, he's constantly playing chess when the rest of the league is playing checkers right now. He's like at least the top 3 best GMs in the league. So maybe doing this kind of stuff, with the smoke screen, and then making other people's front offices think like, well, geez, maybe they're looking to add another linebacker in the draft. Or maybe in free agency or whatever. Maybe you start to
there's a long haul. There's a long haul with these decisions.
Yeah.
What's
the Bills going to go after a linebacker in the draft now?
Yeah.
No,
What's this great Buffalo Bills organization doing? Maybe we should follow suit. Oh, they're going after Von Miller. Okay, let's get him.
Or he just made it so the Rams spent a little more than they had to on him. I mean, anytime you can get people to give capital away for more than what they should and it benefits you, that's a good thing.
And the Rams are known for that, dude.
For a 30-year-old defense, a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's pretty steep if you ask me.
That's what he's been doing. McVay's been doing since he got into town, man. Overpaying They had a list of next year's draft picks for the Rams. It's like zero. They got like 1 4th rounder or something. He's just giving away everything and the farm. And I mean, I know that on paper they're a good team. I think Matt Stafford's crossed over the plane. I think he's not getting any better. I think he's older, and I think that he's going to start to slow down about 3/4 of the way through the season, and people are going to be like, huh. I obviously think
that's why they stocked up the defense a little more. Probably,
yeah,
Swank.
probably, right? So they're going to start running the ball a little more and try and do that kind of thing. But I don't know, man. Going all in like that, this is the same thing that he did with Goff, right? Went on all in on Goff, and then that's my guy. See you later, Bring in all these veterans, and I don't know. I'm just not impressed with him. I don't like his hair.
Work out for him.
It's too nice.
I don't like how young and handsome he looks.
Yeah.
It's just disturbing.
It looks like he gets Botox in his forehead. I don't like it.
Scott, quick throw out there again. Mr. Mark Maddox is Help One Foundation. What's that all about, and what are we doing for people who donate? Go ahead,
the Mark Maddox Foundation, Help One Foundation. It's Mark Maddox started this a while ago. It's a 501c charity, and basically it's a great thing he's doing for kids over there. He's raising money to help get them into camps that otherwise they wouldn't be able to get into. Boys and girls camps, obviously, I'm talking about. They do little school giveaways, such as like filling up backpacks full of supplies and all that stuff. They do Christmas events, and then obviously they do events to help raise funds for these kids to be able to go to camps. He's been doing it a while, and again, it's one of those things that's helping kids, give them a chance to better their opportunities, and that's an awesome thing. So we're helping him out. We are going to do what we normally do here at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, a 5-day charity donation raffle, we call it. You donate any amount to the Venmo CashApp that's on the screen to your left or right, however you're looking at it, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a Mark Maddox jersey. We're doing it for 5 days. The winner will donate all the way up until about 12 o'clock on Sunday before the Jaguar game, and then we will random number generate a winner for that jersey. So not only are you donating to help these kids out, to help give them opportunities they otherwise wouldn't, but you're also entering yourself in for a chance to win a sweet Mark Maddox jersey. The Help One Foundation. Check them out at www.helponefoundation.org.
.org. Someone already messaged us that they want stickers. We got your address.
Yep.
If anybody else wants them, they're free. Just send us your address.
Yep.
And your name, obviously. Obviously, we know your name. Send us your address. We'll send them out for free. All right. Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins. We're on 5-2. We're going to travel down to Miami to play on the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Actually, we're traveling down to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did you say Miami?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're probably flying into Miami.
Yeah, I'm flying them. Yeah, probably. They're going to hit Miami maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Scott,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about this Jacksonville Jaguars game?
Jaguars?
Jaguar.
Well,
Pandemonium,
something I
let
want
us
to
know.
mention that I didn't mention before, we're 1.5 games up on the AFC East, and like I always preach, win the AFC East, you're in the playoffs. What am I going to say about the Jaguar game? We better handle them. I said that about the Miami game. This is a game that we should go in there with a buttload of confidence. Jaguars are struggling at 1-6. They have a rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Not a very impressive offensive line, and the wide receivers are Tyron Johnson, Marvin Jones, and Laviska Shenault, which is a guy I wanted a couple of years back. So I think the Bills should be able to handle this offense pretty well. I think it's a good game for our defensive ends and defensive line to get a bunch of sacks. Ed Oliver continue the rampage. I think really there's not any part of the game that concerns me as far as the Jaguars. But I will say this: you got to go in every Sunday. You got to play the game. You got to play these professional athletes, get paid a lot of money to do what they do, and they're coming to look to beat you up. So you better go there to beat them up. Again, it's a 1:00 Sunday game. I'm excited for it. But hot weather. We got to be careful about the hot weather, and I think it should be a game we should handle pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that you mentioned is that it's an NFL team and they're going to come out playing, right? There's a difference between a 1-6 team that's young compared to a 1-6 team that's older, right? They know they're building. They know they have a young quarterback there. So they are still dangerous in the fact that they're not going to quit because they still have something to prove. 1-6 team with older teams, they obviously are still going to play because they're getting paid to play, but there's something dangerous about a 1-6 team that's young and has a young stud quarterback. Swank, what are your thoughts, bud?
So I want us to just come out and play our game. I know that this week it felt like we came out and Dable was trying to put something on tape. It felt like they thought they could handle them pretty easy, and maybe this is just naive Bills fan number 3 in the room talking, but like that wasn't their game. And I don't think that they were scared of Xavier Howard or those corners or those safeties. And I think that they could have pulled the trigger on some bombs. Maybe they thought it was an opportunity to work some stuff out. Maybe they thought it was an opportunity to work on their screen game. But what I want to see this week is them dropping bombs and being that team that we all know they can be. I want a big game from Josh. I want Emmanuel Sanders back in the mix, and I want that, like, no doubt in my mind first half. Like, I really want him to come out in the first half and just lay it down. The Jags are building. Trevor Lawrence obviously is a rookie. Everybody's high on him. I don't know if they're still high on him. For me, I think it's like way more of a build than the Bills were. Like, the Jaguars are just depleted. Like, Doug Marrone imploded that whole team. Everybody who was good left. Like, there's just nothing left. And now you got Urban Meyer in there who is hacking it up too, like with all these stupid just off-field stuff and not knowing the proper, like, coach etiquette to go about things or what to say or who to talk to or what to do. It's really hard, I think, for Trevor Lawrence to get a good grasp on what an NFL quarterback is supposed to be like when you have a coach who's trying to fill out the same thing in that coaching role. So I just hope that, like, I hope he does well in the future. I hope we put him right on his ass the whole game. And I think the Bills come out and take back, like, that machismo that they might have lost in the first half of the Miami game.
Right, and that might be a statement game. It might have to be thrown in there every once in a while, Swank, right? Because you mentioned a couple seconds earlier the fact that they're still trying to feel out. Maybe they're trying different things to maybe use in the future. Do that for a game and then come out and just stomp somebody for the next game. If you're playing a weaker, quote-unquote, weaker opponent, do that again. Figure out some stuff that you could probably work into maybe later on in the season or playoffs. But then every once in a while, you have to come out and just put your foot down and be like, oh, this is the real Buffalo Bills. This is what we're capable of doing. And I don't know if that's what they do week in and week out because they are a professional team. You're hoping that they're going out 100% every time. But I'm not a coach. I'm not a GM, so I don't know how all that goes. But
so, Jarrod, I think the thing is, right now, our Buffalo Bills opponent against record isn't that great. Our opponent's record is not that good. So, you got people looking at our schedule saying, yeah, they're 5-2, but they haven't really played anybody. They played Miami twice. You know what I mean? They get to play the Jaguars. They need to have a game like a 40-something to like 3 game. Just to, when you're playing these poor teams, you should be stomping them, especially when you're not playing any high caliber teams. You need to at least handle these guys. We did beat the Chiefs. Yes, that's awesome. But to go back to that Urban Meyer, like Swank was saying, Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence thing, the only thing I like what that organization is doing right now is keeping Trevor Lawrence in the games. It's one of those things, a new coach comes in, whether it's an experienced coach or not, but if you're coaching a new team, what's the first thing they tell you? That coach has got to get their quarterback. And a lot of times they'll go in free agency and grab a quarterback that they want a young quarterback that they want to bring up. And sometimes they just draft their quarterback in the first draft that they belong to, especially if they have a low draft pick, because why else would a coach be coming in unless the other coach got fired because they have a poor record? So they're doing a good job as far as keeping Trevor Lawrence in the games, unlike what they did with Tua in Miami. He's going to learn from it, and I think he will be a good quarterback at some point. But it's one of those things. Swank also said he wants to see the wide receivers and Josh Allen take over. Beasley, Sanders, and Diggs are playing corners by the name of Herndon, Griffin, and Clay Brooks. They're not playing corners by the name of Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. So you want to see an offense take off. This is the game where the offense will take off. Jarrod, me and you always say something about a running game, right? They got linebackers Miles Jack, and who's the other Josh Allen, right? Those guys are pretty athletic. They have like the 8th ranked run defense. So the running game, I don't think is going to be an option for Bills. That play action game, I think they should probably just take out of it and let Josh pass for 50 attempts this game. I think this is a game where you let Bees, you let Diggs, and you let Gabriel Davis, and you let Sanders just go crazy and let Josh Allen throw for over 400 yards.
Yeah, let him get it. I agree. I fully agree. Okay, so let's we have a little Ellen Lartz. Jags have a rookie quarterback. Bills defense is going to tee off on him when they get the chance. That might be my X factor, Ellen. Also, I think Brent Thomason said I want Mitch to have a hell of a second half game. Yes, Brent, that is perfect. Give us a number. What's Mitch going to throw for? But yeah, I know Brent's always saying and joking around about Mitch, but this could be a game where if it is kind of out of hand right now, he can come in and get his experience for sure. Team with nothing to lose is very dangerous.
Those teams are always hard to play. The teams with nothing to lose. We saw what the Lions did last week. An onside kick early, a fake punt, some of that trickery play. You play these teams that are 1-6, 1-7. You're right. They got nothing to lose. And you know what? If they lose the other 10 games, they've got next year's first round pick and the first pick in the first round. So, with Alan said something about Urban Meyers not having the experience that he thinks he can do in college, what he did in the NFL. He might be also someone that says, let's just screw the rest of the season and get that number 1 pick next year, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did that at all, in between lap dances, of course. But who knows? Yeah, these games can be scary because you're right. They got nothing to lose. So they're going to pull all the tricks out of the bag, and unless the Bills are prepared for it. And they should be, because they saw what Miami did in that first half. You got to prepare for these guys and be ready for them, because they could do anything if they want. Yeah,
nothing to lose with a college-minded coach, right? So you're going to be possibly seeing trickery right off the bat and stuff that will annoy the hell out of you if you're watching the game and they're actually pulling it off. All right, cool. Scott, if you want to throw that out there one more time about the foundation, Help One Foundation. How people can win a Mark Maddox jersey.
Yeah, you can win a Mark Maddox jersey. All you have to do is donate to the Help One Foundation, and you're going to donate through my Venmo at Scott 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. That's a Venmo, or CashApp $Scott 24/7 BF. Any amount works. Any amount helps. And like I said, any amount gets you entered to win a chance at the Mark Maddox jersey. We're going to give it 5 days of donation. It's going to end at 12 o'clock on Sunday, an hour before the game starts. We'll do the random number generator and find out who wins at that point. At which time we will shortly afterwards donate the money that we received right to the foundation and help those kids out and help Mark out with that awesome foundation that they got going on. HelpOneFoundation.org.
Who doesn't want a Mark Maddox jersey?
1991 to 98, I think, Jarrod. And I think I found something here.
No way. Did you? There it is, the blue hat.
I don't know if you could read it.
Yeah.
Mark Maddox. Of course, Jarrod went to a Buffalo Bills game.
It was the Pittsburgh Steelers game that I always talk about. That was the first game Mom and Dad took us to.
He's got a whole bunch of signatures, but the one he was most proud of was the Mark Maddox signature. And you could barely read their names; they're so old.
Yeah, I want to let everybody know why. Because this was our first game we ever went to, and we decided to stay in the parking lot next to the gates, back wherever all the players would walk out. My dad and mom let us stay a little bit longer, and a lot of players walked by. And that's the game that Kevin Green actually called me a name, being a Bills fan, wanting an autograph from the Pittsburgh Steelers guy. But I remember Mark Maddox being pretty much the only guy to walk up and just, signed it. And that was the first signature I ever got. And like I said, I'll always remember that because it was. But looking up stories about Mark in the past, he's been known as that type of guy. Like he's the one, if you're designated 15 minutes to sign autographs, he's the one staying longer to sign autographs for a longer period of time. So having that experience as a kid with him coming up to me and you obviously, Scott, because we had the same hats, and getting them signed, it was special. But to know that he carried that on after that year 1, year 2 of his career, it was just simply amazing. And I liked him ever since. I think we were probably on B team or A team at that time. I think I started becoming linebacker and loving the fact that I remember watching number 55 run around the field. He was freaking quick. He was quick. Those linebackers back in the 90s, when they were allowed to hit a little bit different, they were animals. And he was one of those guys who played linebacker and special teams. So I definitely was inspired by number 55, Mark Maddox, growing up. So that's awesome. Love it. All right, guys. Swank has been a little quiet. He's working on some audio. He's been out for a little bit. That's why he's looking kind of
Disheveled.
just there.
Just there.
So, Swank, what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the score predictions. You can't hear us yet, but Mafia, Pandemonium, let us know what you think the score of the Jacksonville Jaguars Buffalo Bills game is going to be. Scott, I'm going to go with you first. What's your score prediction?
As I said before, I think this is a game where, the Bills, again, haven't played very tough teams as far as their win-loss records go. So the Bills need to come out and put a stomp in. They're traveling down to Florida. Nice weather. They shouldn't have any it might be hot. I don't know the exact weather report. But, it should be a stomping. I said 38-10. I'd love for another shutout. I think that is a very good possibility. But, the reality of it, it's very hard to do that in the NFL. So 38-10. With some wiggle room. And yeah, I just see the Bills defense handling the rookie quarterback and that young offense. And then the Bills offense taking care of those corners with the talent we have with Beasley, Gabriel Davis, Diggs, and Emmanuel Sanders.
Wow, we do have a lot of talent with those guys. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Well, hello. We just started
Score predictions.
Oh,
I went 38-10.
38-10 Jags. Wow, that's crazy.
Man, I can't believe we did that.
Cool. Am I up?
Go ahead,
All
Swank.
right. I think that I went a little homerish last week with my 51-0 shutout. So that's going to be, like full moon eclipse Swank prediction. So this one's going to be a little more reasonable. And I am going to say we're going 42-10.
There you go.
And bold prediction wise, man, what do you got? Is that what you got?
Jared's going 44-10.
43-9.
1
$1. Yeah, man, we should be handling these guys. No problem. I've been doing a lot of like sack bold predictions and X factors. I think we need them. We need them back. It was nice to have those 2 last week from the old guys, but I want these young guys back out there. I want Boogie active. I'm sick of seeing him be
second week in a row he's been active.
Yeah. I don't like this healthy scratch stuff with him. I just don't know what the Jags have to offer, especially they don't even have a running game now, right? Injuries.
James Robinson is questionable.
Yeah. So I think my X factor and bold prediction are going to go kind of hand in hand, and I'm going to say that Groot balls out, and he gets 2 sacks, and then I think one of those young guys are going to get another one, be it Boogie or Epinesa. And I'm looking for a 5-sack day from that line altogether. So between
You son of a bitch, you're looking at all our notes.
Oh, really? Is that what yours was too? Did you already do it? So, sorry, guys.
I didn't do mine. No, I didn't do any of my ball.
I'm sorry. I thought you...
I just did the score.
Let me just explain really fast because part of the thing with the supercomputer, Swank supercomputer build here, is that for whatever reason, my computer can't handle stuff, and all of a sudden, I won't be able to hear these guys. So, literally, and that was the longest time I think it's ever happened. That had to be like a good 5 minutes, which felt like 13 years. I'm retired now since the last time I spoke with you guys. So, in amongst all that should be handled. But thanks to you guys for keeping it pro and keeping it going. And I was
It
answering.
was 5 minutes of silence, Swank.
We just sat here like you're just like moving your lips.
Just waiting for you.
Just a bunch of gibberish. Anyway,
Hello, darkness.
so yeah, that's what was going on there. And also I was answering a couple questions in the comments about Mr. Mark Maddox. We don't know exactly what's going on. I'm sure you guys addressed this again during my moment of silence there. But he was scheduled to be on the show. Sometimes this stuff happens. We're hoping that he's okay and everything's well. Maybe just slipped his mind, or maybe we got another 10 minutes. Maybe he'll be able to pop on, or we can reschedule. So, yeah, for all intents and purposes, we're really hoping that he can at least pop on and say hi.
He's still one of my favorite linebackers. That's never going to change.
There's a question. What would Mark Maddox have to do to make Jarrod not love him?
We don't want to go down that rabbit hole, right?
Say he's a lifelong Tom Brady fan.
I don't think so. I don't think that would
Ever
do
since
that.
I left the league. He left the league in 2000, so Brady came in what, 01?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would probably make it happen. Sorry, Mark. All right, I just want to throw out there really quick a couple scores that we have up here. Unless, Scott, do you have something to say quick?
Well, I was going to do my bold as well.
Okay,
Swank did his. I mean,
Let's do Mike Vogt, 41-13. Buffalo, Chris Christian, 31-13. Moss will have 2 TDs. Let's see here. Lisa Pacquian says Bills by 50. I like that. Paul Kurtoff, 42-3. Ellen Lartz, score prediction. Bills 28, Jags 9. John Johns, 49-9. Sweeney with 2 TDs. X Factor. Defensive line shuts down Jags offense. You guys are reading everybody's notes here. Gary Richardson, 38-10. Paulette Brown, 40-3. I'm assuming her bold prediction is Mackenzie has 2 returns for a touchdown. Family. All right, Scott, what's your bold? Sorry, guys, I didn't get to everybody, but Scott, what's your bold prediction and X Factor?
bold prediction, kind of like Swank, 5 sacks. I'm going 5+ sacks.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, they needed to come out with a fire underneath their ass last game, giving us the big 0 against a team with the Titans that gets sacked most in the NFL. We had nothing against them. We did get 2 last week. Miami is pretty mobile. Tua did all right. He found that slant pass awful lot, which is a pass pattern that I think the Bills have the most difficulty with. Addison and Hughes found home, and I think this will be a week. Trevor Lawrence is athletic. He really is. He's a big, tall presence in the pocket, though, and I don't think that offensive line for the Jaguars is as good as the Miami offensive line. So I can see 5 sacks. So spreading it around a little bit. Ed Oliver worked his ass off last week. I think he'll finally get a sack this week, and a couple of the Young Bucks and maybe a Hughes and an Addison sack. So 5+.
Nice.
And James Robinson's right now he's questionable with a heel injury. I have him on fantasy. My fantasy team is falling apart. But Carlos Hyde is the backup running back. Brings a little more power, but they're definitely going to lose that out of the backfield receiving ability with Carlos Hyde instead of James Robinson. So.
And the Bills had Carlos Hyde on their team for a little bit, so they might know a little bit about him already.
Well, the problem is when you can take a running back that's pretty versatile, that can go out in the flats and catch a ball, that for a lot of quarterbacks, especially a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, is a nice release, is a nice last-minute kind of dump-off. And now that you have Carlos Hyde, who can do that, but not as effective as James Robinson, I think he's going to hang on to the ball a little longer, or he's going to get rid of the ball a little quicker because he no longer has that relief and may throw some interceptions. So I think its defense is going to wreak havoc. X Factor?
Right. Go ahead, brah.
If James Robinson is back, it's the Milano versus James Robinson competition. Milano's been putting his helmet on the running back coming out of the backfield, so that'll be an exciting matchup to watch. Jacob Hollister's their tight end there, their backup tight end, so that'll be a fun matchup to watch if he does play. And then Trey White versus the very physical Laviska Shenault. The wide receiver core isn't at all great for the Jaguars, but Laviska Shenault does those wide receiver screens. He's a tough presence. He's not afraid to put his hands on you and fight for position. So the Trey White Shenault competition will be excited. Those 2 parts of the game I think are going to be the X factor.
I like that. I like it. Can we talk a little bit before I do my score, bold, and X factor? I know we wanted to put this out there because the NFL is not really talking about it, but Trey White has been playing pretty much lights out all year. I think he's
not even pretty
Scott,
much 100%.
Earlier this week, he has got the most targets or the most plays with 0 touchdowns allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Trey White. You can tell the way he acted this past weekend that he's got a chip on his shoulder now. I don't know if you saw he was celebrating more and pumping his chest up a little bit, but he's not getting the recognition he deserves, and he's playing very well. So, Trey, if you're watching, we hear you. We got you. We've been watching you. We know you're the guy.
Hell yeah.
Revis Island what?
Nice call. That was a good throwback.
Bang.
Hey, I just wanted to address. Well, I'm sorry. Did you want to do your predictions and stuff? Everybody all good?
Go ahead, Swank. I'll let you go first.
I just wanted to say, appreciate all you guys sticking around and doing it. And obviously, we've had some luck with ex-Bills players in the past. And I think right now, a couple of people are saying, maybe Mark just got his time zones mixed up or whatever. And believe me, as bummed as any of you could be, we are equally as bummed, and also want to make sure that, you guys realize that we are going to do everything we can do to absolutely get him on the show as soon as we can. There's a couple of people that Laura was saying that Mark was a big reason that she came on tonight, and responded like, yeah, us too, 100% us too. That's Jarrod's, all-time favorite Bill. So we just hope that everything's cool and everything's okay. And he had confirmed and all that. So I just really wanted to thank you guys for sticking it out for the show and hanging and being nice to us, because you know us, man. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, we're not trying to dangle anything in front of your face or do any of that stuff. So,
I got your dollar. No, that's another thing, Swank and Scott. And I know disappointment. I don't know if that's really the word that I feel. I just hope everything's all right with Mark. But also, life happens.
Sure does.
Like, before we even say anything, next week I'm not going to be here because I'm celebrating my beautiful girlfriend's birthday. So it's just going to be Swank, Scott, and we're going to have another special guest on with Ryan Thomas.
Yeah, Ryan Thomas Takes.
He's from Thomas Takes, right? So it would have been awesome to sit here and talk football with Mark Maddox, but life happens. We understand that, and that's why we carried on with the show, because we know that stuff happens. And, I can't wait to have him on next time if he wants to come back on. He's more than welcome. So
yeah.
Life happens. You just got to keep moving on, and that's what we do. And we just thank everybody. We've been hanging at 25 strong all night, so we know we got the people that support us, and that's what we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Did I do mine?
I don't think you did, dude.
Guys.
What?
42.
No one cares about yours.
I know. All right, that's the night. Let's end it. 42-10 score prediction. My bold prediction is there was a big debate on who the number one running back is, Zach Moss or Singletary. It's going to be a week-to-week decision, I think. I think having both those guys back there is beneficial to the Buffalo Bills, but one of those guys will get 100 yards rushing this weekend. Bold prediction. That was it. X Factor, like everyone has been saying for the last 25 minutes, the defensive line playing lights out is my bold prediction, or my X Factor. I think Ed Oliver is going to keep that fire up. The young guys are going to get in there, and that D line, the 4 or 5, or they rotate. I think it's the same thing going on. They're the max guys playing 55% of the plays because they're rotating so much. But my X Factor is going to be that D line wreaking havoc on Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguar.
All right. Do we have any other bold predictions out here, guys, that you're seeing?
Well, I got my boy Uncle James, who's recovering from some knee injuries. He's got
cover quickly.
Yeah, man. Quick recovery. I saw him the other day. He's doing pretty good, and I'm glad to see you back on the stream, buddy. So he says 24-13, and Gabe Davis is his X Factor. And he wants to talk.
It was nice to see him come in and do something this week.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll say it again. I just want to say this again. For those of you that weren't on the show last week to hear my little rant about Gabe Davis, I can assure you, it was the Friday football night frenzy that I'm going to do every Friday night at 9 o'clock.
Shows, man.
I know I am. Don't be mistaken that Gabriel Davis is having a sophomore slump. Swank, do you think he is? Jarrod, do you think he is?
No.
No. Look at the team
He
he's
did
on.
he did so great last year because John Brown got hurt and he was able to fill in that second position. Emmanuel Sanders is the guy that the Bills brought in. He's a guy that's been consistent, reliable, not injured. So unfortunately for Gabriel Davis, the Bills' depth at wide receiver is so good that it's going to be hard to put him in when he's not needed to be put in anywhere. He's going to perform when given the opportunity for sure. He's going to make the most of it, as we've seen when he does. But I'm not going to call it a sophomore slump. I'm just going to call it it's a thing because of circumstances. Basically, Emmanuel Sanders is number 2, Diggs is number 1, Beasley's number 3, Knox is killing it at tight end. It's hard to give these guys the ball, and if someone's not getting injured, Gabriel Davis is not going to have the opportunities he had last year. So he's going to give you the most that he can when he's out there. It's not a slump. It's just circumstance.
Just remember what he did last year in the playoffs.
Look at Diggs, man. Diggs isn't having the year he had last year. I was so happy to see him catch that TD this last week. And that dude, the guy that is a cancer for locker rooms and good luck, Buffalo, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that dude was the best receiver in the NFL last year. That hasn't changed. That hasn't gone away. That guy is not gone. There are just way more options spread out all over the place. Look at what's happening to the Chiefs offense right now. Right? Their 2 dudes are getting figured out. You got a dynamic quarterback and you got 2 crazy targets in Kelsey and Hill. And now you're getting figured out. So what's their other option? You know what I mean? And they don't have a defense that can help them hang. So Mahomes gets flustered. He's taking riskier chances than he normally would. He's throwing more picks. He's getting sacked more, blah, 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 blah. If you're looking at a Bills team that we have right now, you have young players that have been in the system for consecutive years, or you have solid veterans that have been in the NFL and performed at a high level for several years, like several more years, right? So with all those options spread out across that backfield, and at wide receiver and tight end, everywhere else, every dude in that locker room has to know that they just are going to have to take their piece when it comes to them.
It's a piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Work your ass off and get open.
Swank is 100 receptions, 1,100 yards receiving, and 7, 8 touchdowns. Is that a good season for wide receiver?
Yeah, absolutely.
Diggs is still on pace for that. He's not going to have the numbers he did last year, but he's still going to be 100+ catches, and he's still going to be 1,000+ yards.
I'm telling you, he could take 2 games and just be right back up in the top. He could go off for 2 games, and he has the ability to do that. Emmanuel Sanders also has the ability to do that.
Beasley did it this week.
Beasley did it there's just, when you, literally, there is not a better wide receiving trio in the NFL right now. Is there? I know we're Bills fans, and I know everybody will say we're homers, dude, but there's not a better 3 wide receiving core in the NFL. And I don't know how you could even argue it.
No, I have written down here. Diggs has 500. Sanders has 413. Beasley has 413. Before the season started, there was talk about 3 receivers with 1,000 yards receiving, and we are definitely on pace with that. But you're not seeing – we have 7 games in there. You're not seeing 200-yard games by an individual, 180-yard games by an individual. It's bit by bit and piece by piece and yard by yard, and that's where it's going. So, yeah. You guys, Swank and Scott, you guys seeing the love that we're having on here?
Yeah, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, especially that Ellen Reed bold prediction. You guys are going somewhere with the group and show, and the show is awesome. But you're right, Ellen. The group is what is everyone here tonight is what's gonna keep this thing going. So.
And there you go. You wake a sleeping giant in Eric Gordner, where of course he lists the 3 Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers.
Do you see how he ended it though?
Yeah, Juju when healthy.
Hey guys,
Deontay.
I know we're close to the end, but we got a special guest coming on right now.
Right, cool.
Really?
Perfect.
Mark.
Hey,
There he is. Hey Mark, how are you?
How's it going?
Oh my God. Dude, I am so sorry.
No, man, it's all right.
Hey, man.
Yeah. I mean, the kids and my son, he has been a bear, and I'm like, all of a sudden, today has just been like the most craziest day. And when he got home from school, it was one problem after another problem. His behavior was all bad at school, and screaming, yelling. And I'm like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. And he wants to do a book. And I'm like, no, or not a book. He wants to use his iPad, but I'm like, no, you got to do your homework, and we got to read a book with your sight words before you do any of that, yada, yada, yada. And my mom she's almost worse than the kids. But it's just, I'm just telling you, man, it was just one of those things. And I'm sitting there, and then finally I'm making them dinner, and I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I hit myself, and I'm just like, oh my God, the podcast. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like I said, I am so sorry.
Listen,
you're fine. Like Jarrod said earlier, Mark, Jared's like, life happens.
Yeah.
We're just glad you're okay, because I know you said you'd come on and all that stuff, and the first thing we thought before the show even started and we're getting close was, well, I hope Mark's okay. And so good to see you for sure. And kids happen. I have 3 myself. Jared has I have 2. I don't have 3. Jared has 3 crazy kids too. So we know how that's
how crazy it is. He doesn't even know how many he's got.
That just brought that all to home. Yeah. That just Mark Maddox joining us, linebacker, retired linebacker, Buffalo Bills linebacker, number 55, one of my favorites. But the humanity of everything, right? We're all human. Life happens. And man, that just gave me goosebumps, because it's like, oh my God, his kids, he is okay. Yep. That's me too. That's my life. I have 3 kids, little ones. So I know life happens. That's why I was telling people earlier, is that life happens. So you just have to go with it. We still had a great show. Now it's even better. Mark, thanks for joining us for a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, oh my God. I hope you're still on. I hope you're still on. I'm like, let me check.
Well, it's actually perfect time. And we've been pushing the Help One Foundation that you started. We know it's doing a lot for the kids as far as charities and getting them, money to help get to the girls and boys clubs, and making sure that they're getting opportunities that otherwise they wouldn't unless they got a little help. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, you founded it, correct?
Yeah, I founded it. Actually, it all started back like when I was in Buffalo. I was doing a bunch of charity stuff already, but I started a thing called Gifts, Milk, and Cookies, where Christmas time I would get kids, low income families, and we go to like one of the hotels somewhere, get a banquet room and rent it out, have a Santa, and we give out bags of toys, to each family and to each kid. And then we just have milk and cookies, And so it started there, and I've been doing it ever since, like I said, in Buffalo. But when I got here to Arizona, and after I got done playing, I started coaching high school football back in like 2007 or 2008. And the cost for camps at that time is like $300. And for the people for some of these kids, it becomes expensive. Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing was, I'm like, I'm going to start helping some of these kids with scholarships, and being able to get scholarships. So I ended up probably like 2009, I think it was, I wanted to start a nonprofit. And I thought of Help One Foundation for helping one kid at a time, primarily for sports camps, church camps, music camps, any type of camp in the summertime. Because like here in Arizona, there's ASU has a computer camp for kids to go to in the summertime. It's 1 week, and it's $1,000. Can you imagine having 2 kids wanting to get into some computer science and trying to put them through something like that? That's crazy. Expensive.
Yeah, that's really
crazy. So I started that. But I always continue doing a Christmas thing, about every 2 to 3 years. I started doing it for just low income families. I take the kids bowling, we do gifts, we do presents and stuff like that. And then finally, it was like 2018. I had a transportation business where I was doing medical transportation. And the company that I was with, they ended up really going away from their fleet and doing it more like the Uber and Lyft, where they had basically more independent people, in just their own regular vehicles, not bonded or anything like that. So I got out of that, and I'm like, I want something to do. I'm going to restart my foundation. So I went and got it incorporated, got my 501c3. Mm-hmm. And we've done that now since 2018. We've done, 2 years we did, well, every year we've done backpacks to schools. We do that every year, or except for last year with COVID, where we'll do backpacks full of supplies for Title I schools. But now I think our main focus is we're going to do the same thing with the scholarships, but we're going to incorporate 3 other things that we'll do on a yearly basis. We'll do books to Title I schools for kids trying to open up their in-home library. And we, this year we've done over 1,000 books to schools in Buffalo, schools here in Arizona, schools in Texas, and school in Wyoming. So we've reached out all over with the books and with people, especially like the people in my Bills Mafia Nation. That's where we find out if they're teachers and they know anyone or anything like that. We got them books. We got those kids books. And what's so funny is that last night I subbed bowling for one of my buddies, and actually I coached his son in high school, and his wife was one of the teachers who had requested books for kids at her school. And he told me the story. He goes, "Oh my God," he goes, "my wife, one of the girls who I gave books to, she was so excited, not about the books, but about the picture, because I put an autographed picture in there. She was so excited about the autographed picture, but the wife said, you would not believe the change in this little girl. She is now trying to read anything and everything, and it just changed, basically it changed her life."
That's awesome.
That his wife said that she's like night and day different. And he goes, and that's exactly what you say, helping one kid at a time. And so I was like, that's exactly it. So I told him to have his wife write me a testimonial so we can put that up.
Yeah.
Put that up.
And that was with a book for a child. Mark, I would just want to throw a personal story out there. As a 11, 12-year-old watching a Pittsburgh Steelers preseason game, my first one ever that mom and dad took us to, something that you did that drove me to play high school linebacker was when you were walking down the gates to leave the game after that Steelers game, you came and signed my brother and I's hat for us. And he's got it right there still. And ever since that day, I played fullback and Scott played quarterback, but I wanted to play linebacker because of you. So yeah, the small things, even just a signature or saying hi or shaking a hand, can cause a domino effect to great things. And Mark, you did that to this little girl, and you did it for me just to play that little bit of high school football at linebacker. So I appreciate it. But that's just a great testimony to say the small things that you do in life can lead to bigger things. So
right.
Just be kind.
It matters. And it's like, it matters what we do because it can touch someone who you just never knew how it would really affect them. We did blessing bags last year for the homeless. This year, just when I was back in Buffalo, we did 110 breakfasts down at the Buffalo Library, downtown library. And for Christmas, we will do a Christmas party for kids with special needs, or low-income families that have a child with special needs, because some of the families have multiple kids, but we'll do them for all the kids in the family. So those are our 3 main things in our scholarship. And we've been doing a 50-50 raffle. If we can get enough in the 50-50 raffle, in the 50-50 squares for the pools, if we can build up enough between now and Christmas, my thought is I want to try to get back for either the game on the 6th or the 19th that the Bills have, and do something for the kids in Buffalo, as well as the kids that I do here in Arizona.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. And to go on what you've said and what Jarrod have said, just the little things, a lot of people don't understand how much a book means to someone. And, we had Andre Reed on a couple weeks ago, and with his Read with Reed, his is all about books and what books can do for kids, what books can do for children to not only help them sometimes escape when they can get lost in a fiction. Not only does it help, obviously language, and it helps listening, and it helps the understanding of a lot of contracts and all that stuff that they have to grow up and deal with. Reading is huge. And if you can get kids invested in reading and reading books and understanding the language of a written word, that is such a powerful thing. And to be able to give someone that power gives them the opportunity to do things that a lot of times they would never be able to do. So, and like I said, a book seems so trivial, but it really is something that is huge for these kids that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity. So that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, it is so true, because like I was just having the discussion with my kid's mom, and I asked her, I said, how often are you reading with our son? Because that's something that he needs. And, I'm like, when he's with me, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I can't tell you what to do and how to do it, but you need to read more books with him. Okay. So he can learn his sight words, so he can learn all the stuff that he needs, so he can understand and get a better grasp on reading and want to read. Because I know as a kid, I didn't like reading. I grew up not liking reading, but I know and wish I would have read more. And so now that's what I'm trying to get him to do. And so, so it's one of those things where, you got to work together. You got to make sure that you're on the same page, and that, like you said, it builds an imagination. It helps these kids understand, like in life, you're going to have to learn how to read. You're going to have to know this, know that. And knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm. So, Mark, what we want to do here at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium is, donations are awesome. They always are. But I think I always tell people half the battle is the awareness part. And
exactly.
So if we can just have a few people go on the www.helponefoundation.org and look at it and read about it and donate, that means the world, even if it's just one person. So the awareness is what we really want to push on here. And we are going to actually do a donation for 5 days until Sunday before the game starts. We're going to be Twittering it, Instagramming it, Facebooking it, and having my Venmo and Cash App up there, and then we're going to send the money your way. But but 5 days we're going to have it going for. Any donation works, and we hope that people participate. But the big thing is the awareness. We're going to let thousands of people know about it.
Okay, yeah, and I know we're going to give away a jersey too. Yeah. And
love it.
Well, yeah, a personal autographed jersey, and I'll throw in a biscuit jersey too.
Wow.
If you don't know who Biscuit is, then you guys don't know.
Get out of here.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you,
Get out of here.
all you got to do, guys, is donate, and I'll put you in a random number generator, and then we'll find out who the 2 winners are on Sunday. It's that easy. $5, $10, $5,000. It doesn't matter how much. When you donate, you get your number. I know your name. We'll do the random number generator, and we'll find out who wins those 2 jerseys next Sunday.
So to clarify, the jersey that's going to be Biscuit is not like a biscuit looking jersey. It's actually Cornelius Bennett, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's not made out of biscuits. Oh, okay.
It's not made out of biscuits. It's funny you say that, Mark. Funny you bring that up, because Jerry Hughes just this past week tied Cornelius Bennett for 4th most sacks in Buffalo Bills history.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
And that's
Jerry Hughes is playing some good football. And I like that he's wearing number 55. And he's represented that number really, really, really well.
I was gonna say, did you okay that before he picked it, or is that something that
they don't ask me?
No, listen. If I'm not mistaken, Cornelius Bennett wore 55 for a second there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. His first year he was 55, but he wanted to change. He didn't want 55, and the reason he didn't want 55, which I was like, I didn't understand until he kind of talked about it, and he said he wanted to be perfect. And the closest to perfect, in football is 99.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the only number that you're going to get close to 100. And so that's how he ended up with 97, because he wanted to be as close to 100 as he could be with his number as far as perfection.
That's cool.
That's a great story.
That is. I'm like, not a lot of people look at it like that or think of it that way. But he wanted that number to represent what he was trying to do. And in the mindset, it can play a lot. It can play a lot on you,
And when you watch him play,
that number play like that number, yeah. Are you playing like 97 today, right? So, Mark, when you came in, we were talking about our score prediction, bold prediction, and X factor of the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars game. What do you think the score prediction is going to be? What's your score prediction for this Jacksonville Jaguars game?
I'm always high. I like us scoring, baby. Putting points on the board. I don't Jacksonville. Yeah, I'm gonna say, I think we're gonna put up at least 38.
Okay.
And the way our defense is playing really well. I don't care what anyone says. That Tennessee game, we got people saying, "Oh, they didn't play that well." Henry ran for so many yards. I'm like, yeah. Henry ran for over 100-some yards, but he got 70 of them in one carry. And on the other 19 carries, he only had 67 yards. So that's stopping someone. That is great against the guy of his caliber. Now, yeah, of course, down on the goal line, he's going to score some points because he's going to get 3-4 yards. He's a big kid. He can do it, But go ahead.
I think that was just your echo, Mark.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say, I guarantee, I'm looking at a 38, maybe 38-17, 14 game. I think we'll hold them under. I know we'll hold them under 3 scores. So, 3 touchdowns. I'm really confident in that. So I'm going to go 38, maybe 14-17, kick a field goal.
Okay. I am scoring 38 points too.
Hey, Mark.
All right, and if you have a player or a schematical scheme for the coaches, like a bold prediction or X factor, what would it be for the game?
You know what? In all honesty, I think if I could talk to anyone on that team to say, just my thoughts, it would be the bowl. The coordinator, offensive coordinator. Our passing game is solid, and I know a lot of people say we need other backs and big backs. Singletary and Moss are both excellent backs. I would say our offensive line is our X factor with more pulling plays, more misdirection, more counters, more traps, sweeps. When we run those types of plays, we're so successful. We don't have guys that are going to blow guys off the line of scrimmage. And that's just a fact. We don't have that. But we have linemen, like when you go back to when I was playing, you look at Jimmy Richter, John Davis, John Fina, Kent Hull at center. You got these guys that were so agile on their feet. And anytime you can get a lineman in space with good feet, they're going to win that battle. They're going to block. They're going to get in front of that man. They're not going to run by and miss and whiff and stuff like that. And that, to me, is our X factor. When we start running like that, yeah, our backs are unstoppable. Our offense is unstoppable.
I like it because you're right. Dable sometimes gets caught up just doing these straight stretch plays without anybody pulling, or a quick dive or a quick ISO without anybody pulling. And Feliciano has pretty good feet, and I like Bolker. Bolker at guard has pretty good feet too. So you get these guys moving and make these linebackers have to kind of feed through these linemen that are coming out 2-3 yards outside the line of scrimmage. Yeah, you can create some havoc doing that, and it keeps them guessing.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the stats, I think there is a website that you can get the stats and pay for it. It actually breaks down their plays as far as like yards gained for stretch plays, zone plays, ISOs, dives, powers, counters, traps, and stuff like that. When we run those types of plays, I could guarantee you we're probably a 3 to 5 yard per carry more than just your zone and ISOs and stretches.
Right.
Easily.
We were talking a lot last year about Isaiah McKenzie and that jet sweep. When they ripped that out, it was like a guaranteed 10 every time they played it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not like you got to hit it every down, but we haven't seen a lot of that this year. So maybe throwing a little bit of that in, a little less of the screen that we saw this last week would be nice. About 50 screen passes.
Yeah.
And they made up for all the screens he didn't call the previous
4 years.
Yeah. And I know this last game, a lot of people were a little disappointed in the first half, but for me, and the way I look at the game is when you play a division opponent, okay, you want the game to either be a blowout in favor of you, of course, or you want it to be close and then go in at halftime, make the adjustments, and pull the game out. Because with division rivals, teams that you play twice a year, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that blowout by one of those teams, or you're going to get it where it's really close because they know each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at when you're playing another team like the AFC, when you're playing the NFC division, you're playing that division once every 3 years. Okay. So you really don't have, you know, the background on what they do and how they do it. You just have game film from the last 4 years or from the last 4 games. And if you have previous years, you may look at it to see if they're doing anything similar, but you don't have film on.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at a division rival, okay, you see them twice a year. So you got 2 games from last year, and you're getting all the games from, you know, the previous games that they played before you and your last game. You know, we played Miami once, and there you go. You know, you see that, and that's the one thing that, you know, people don't look at, how often you play them and how it was. And if you listen to Coach McDermott's pre or post game speech, he said, if you look at what we did at halftime made us win that game. And that's exactly it. Our halftime adjustments were awesome. We figured it out. We knew what to do. We, which was probably, you know, which I was really grateful for, because you look at those games, look at last year, we started off on fire, moving the ball, doing this, doing that, and scoring 20, 30 points in the first half. Come out the second half, can't do a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because our halftime adjustments weren't trying to compensate for what could happen now, because we got this lead. We really don't have to really think about anything or do anything. But I think that this year they've done a much better job of going in at halftime and figuring out, okay, we got this here. What are they going to do to compensate? This is what they can do. So if they're going to do that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stay a move ahead of what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's what I think we lacked last year, but we figured out this year. And it really showed this last game, because like I said, when they came out from halftime, it wasn't a different team. It was the scheme that they had.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing the same thing in the first half. Yeah, Josh had a few errant throws a little long here and there, but that happens. Not every throw is going to be on the money,
right.
You know.
Mark, you brought up a good point, because you play a team twice in a year. Actually, the Buffalo Bills played the Miami Dolphins 3 times out of the last 11 games. So
really,
wow.
Yeah. So and they won them all. So that's a huge props to the coaching staff and the players that are willing to learn to adjust, and they're actually adjusting to win those games. So yeah, because they finished with them last year before the playoffs, and they played them twice already this year. So,
well, like Mark said, you either have a blowout game or a game you have to make adjustments for, and we had both of them already this year. That second week game, it was a blowout, and this game was a halftime adjustment. So you saw those 2 exact kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
We love hearing the player perspective.
It'd be the same thing with the Jets when they play the Jets again. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those games where it's like, oh, you should really kill them, and then they're either going to play close in the first half or the second half, and people are going to be like, what? They're the Jets. But no, they're a division rival. Mm-hmm. You never look past anyone in your division, whether they won 0 games or 7 or 8 games.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, it's the NFL.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the NFL, and when you play the same team twice in the NFL, then it's dangerous.
Yep, very dangerous.
All right, one more question before we go to our final thoughts for the night, Mark, is you played linebacker, and we have a 23-year-old linebacker at Tremaine Edmonds. He was, I think, when he first started, he was the youngest starting linebacker in the league. What are your thoughts on Tremaine Edmonds and where he's come in the last couple of years as a Buffalo Bills linebacker?
You know, I'm going to be honest. Last year, I got to watch him, and Um, I got to watch him more last year because I watched more games where I had time to sit and watch and analyze the game. Where this year I've been doing kind of so much stuff. I'm watching a game, but I'm not watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
And last year I felt that he needed to be more physical. I knew he got hurt and had some injuries and stuff like that. But whether you're hurt or not, you still got to perform and you got to be physical against teams. I have seen him step up more and take on more linemen this year than I did last year. So I think that is really good. He has speed, which is awesome. Anytime you got a guy that's got some size and got some speed, you know, just like you've seen one of those hits where he met Henry kind of head on and they both, you know, he made that tackle without, you know, giving up 2 or 3 extra yards after contact. So I think he has gotten much more physical, which he's going to mature and get even more physical as the years go on because, you know, it's just something that happens. Your college strength as compared to your pro strength naturally increases just because, one, you're getting older and your body is maturing and becoming more developed. Because I'll tell you, like when I first came into the league, I could barely bench press. I bench pressed 225, I think 18 or 19 times when I did the minicamp. And, you know, then I got the lifting with Rusty. Rusty Jones was our strength and conditioning coach. And it was not even 6 months after, or not even 6 months, but like 2 months after, you know, that minicamp, and we had the test again at camp. I did 275 18 times. And I learned how to lift. I learned the proper way of lifting and getting stronger. And the next year when I came in, I did 315 18 times. I got tested every week for the first 10 weeks. But, you know, your body matures and you learn the proper way to lift. You will get stronger, you know, and you will get faster. And that combination is deadly. And as the years go on, I feel Tremaine will be one of the top linebackers because, you know, his physicality will be like, look at Ray Lewis and how physical he was, you know, may not have been the fastest guy, but he was physical. He'd fight off those blocks and make plays. And Tremaine is going to reach that level where he is going to fight off blocks and make more plays than he's already making.
Yeah, when all those things start coming together, there's that one thing that you add is the confidence. And then when all three are firing back and forth, you're getting the plays you want to get. You're getting to where you want to be. You're reading the plays a lot faster, and you're stronger. You've got yourself an all-pro linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. And it's you know, and it starts in the meeting room. And if he puts in the time in the meeting room and in the classroom, you know, unstoppable. You know, unstoppable.
Awesome. And I lied. I have one more question for you, Mark. I have one more question from Mike Vogt. We have when we do these shows every Tuesday, we have like the family shows up. There's like 25 to 30 people that show up every Tuesday night, and we love it. But they always have questions. So Mike Vogt asks us questions. On Twitter, we saw a video of Chris Spielman revealing that he's been inducted to the Detroit Lions Wall of Fame type of deal going on. He's being honored. His question is, let's see here, Mark, I have a question for you. Did you get to play alongside Chris Spielman? And if so, what's your perspective on him and his accolades?
Okay. I did get a chance to play with Chris. Chris came in, I believe it was 96.
So
I think it was 96 when he came in. Or was it 95? 95 or 96, but I know I tore my knee, so it might have been 95. I'm unsure. Okay. I tore my knee in a Monday Night Football game. I love Chris Spielman. Chris Spielman is undersized, under speed. He was physical, but what made him the athlete that he was, his education, his studying of the game. Like, I thought I watched a lot of film. He watched a lot of film. He knew what was going on with the other team. we could pretty much tell you what play they were going to run before they ran the play that they ran, just from film study. Mm-hmm. And that was really good to see. I think, he got a big name from Ohio State and in Detroit and stuff like that. And I think that kind of carried over to the media and how the media perceived him, because I know like a lot of like sometimes in a game, I watched a game and all of a sudden I made the tackle, but Chris gets up off the ground and they gave it to Chris. And I'm like, he didn't even make the play, So I think the media kind of really helped also. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. A great athlete, who worked hard, studied hard, and did the right things for his mind and his body.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah,
Butch Roll said 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said players know their stats. And when you just said you got the tackle and Chris Spielman got the name, you know your stats.
Yeah,
like, you got credit for that tackle, son of a gun, man.
I was right there. I'm the one that took him down.
Yeah, well, you can best believe when we're going through film, and grading film. It's like, no, that was me.
Especially these guys that get these quarterback sacks that are giving half sacks. It's like, I'm taking them to the ground. You plopped on top afterwards.
Yeah, right.
How you get half that sack?
We'll give Bruce all of his 200, though. We'll give Bruce all of his 200.
Yeah. What's so funny that you say that? Here in Arizona, when I played with the Cardinals, we were playing the Washington Redskins, and I forgot who the back was. And they were down around the goal line, and I came in from the side, and as I went in, I punched the ball out, but the ball wasn't out. And when Ronnie McKinnon hit him, the ball, came out, and Aeneas picked it up and ran it back for, one of the longest fumble recoveries in the history of the NFL for 103 yards, or 103 or 104. Wow. And so when we get in film, they're like, "Oh, Ronnie got that." And Ronnie's like, he goes, "I don't know. I think I did, but I think Maddox got it." And we're watching film. I'm like, "Yes, I got it. Make sure we know that it wasn't him."
It's like I loosened the jar for you kind of moment, right? Where it's like, you didn't quite get it open. I got it.
No, Ronnie McKinnon then caused the fumble that was returned as one of the longest fumble recoveries in the history of the NFL. It was Mark Maddox.
I think it probably was Stephen Davis, because he was running back.
I think it was. Yep. Yeah. In 97, 98.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, they probably have that ball at Canton, and underneath who was participating, the FF, the forced fumble. Is that Mark Maddox or McKinnon?
We don't. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Tell you, that's a goal for 24/7. We're gonna go to the Hall of Fame with a little piece of masking tape. This is Mark Maddox. Yep.
I love that, Swank. Let's do that. Let's make it legit.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know it was last second, but we appreciate even the moments that we had with you.
Thank
Obviously,
you so
we're gonna do quick last thoughts before we close out for the night. My quick last thought before I really do my real last thought is we want you back on here. So if you're ever available, just let us know when you want to come back on. And
you let me know, and I'll be back anytime. Perfect. If you need me, want to do it next week to recap for me missing this week, let's do that. And I'll make sure it's on the calendar in my phone with an alarm, and I'll make sure everyone knows that I'm not dealing with the kids at that point in time.
Nope, I don't. Nope, not my kid day today. Nope, I got it written right here.
We'll get something going on. Scott, closing thoughts, please, sir.
Closing thoughts. I'd like to touch again. First of all, thank you, Mark, for coming and joining us. The insight that we get from you guys, we love to just talk football, and just the half an hour we've had with you to be able to tell us the game, how the game is, and what you're thinking for the game, and even the film room and all that stuff. We love every minute of that, and our fans actually love soaking that stuff up. But the foundation, Help One Foundation, is awesome on your part, and I'm sure a lot of kids have benefited greatly because of what you've done and the other charities that you've done. So my final thought is kids a lot of times aren't given choices of the decisions maybe their parents have made or where they live or the geographic part of it. And anytime someone has a platform to be able to spread awareness, to be able to donate money, to be able to get these kids a chance to get out of whatever situation they're in, or to give them a book to read, to give them a camp to go to give them supplies for school so they don't have to be embarrassed and they have everything ready. All that stuff means something. And it's for a lot of people, it's trivial. Who doesn't have a backpack? Kids don't. There's people that don't have that stuff. And anytime you can donate any kind of money to help out, we love that at 24/7 Buff in the morning. We love to be able to help you out. So the awareness and the donation, and we take a pride in being able to help you guys out, and it's awesome. I love every minute of it, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is awesome.
Mark, you put your finger up like you want to say something quick.
No, it was what he just said is so true. It was a story. We did the backpacks. I've been doing them for a couple schools here in Phoenix. And the one school that I go to is a middle school. And when I went back this year and took the backpacks to the school, the principal had told me, she goes, when we gave the books or your backpacks the last time, she goes, we had a kid. They find kids are walking around without backpacks and they say, hey, come on in. And they come into the office and they say, here, backpacks, pick one, yada, yada, yada. And so the kid was all excited and happy that he got a backpack. And when he went to get the backpack, he picked it up and he goes, I already have my books. Why is it so heavy? I have my books. And she was like, well, just open it. When he opened it and all the supplies that he needed were in there, he started crying.
Mm-hmm.
He started crying because he didn't know how they were going to get supplies for school. Then some of his basic pencils and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, you just wouldn't believe he went from happy just to have a backpack to being so thankful to crying because everything was there for him. And I told someone, that's why we do what we do. That's the reason Help One is out there, to help kids like that, because we affected one kid out of 100 backpacks. What is that one kid going to do in the future to affect someone? Mm-hmm. And then the person that he affects, that it keeps just going on down the line. We did the 110 breakfasts in Buffalo. We touch one heart. What is that going to do?
It's
the same thing. Yeah. It's like with the books and the little girl, out of 1,000 books, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't matter how many you give or how many you help, as long as we're able to reach that one person, and then one day we'll reach 10, we'll reach 100, we'll reach 1,000, and we'll just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yep. That one will reach 1 million eventually.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's just no words. No words.
Yeah.
Yo.
Swank, what you closing out here?
Man, Mark, I'm so glad you were able to come on and talk with us. It's been a pleasure and an honor. And everybody out there that's still hanging out and watching, please donate to the Help One Foundation. Help a kid out, help 1 million kids out, right? Like, my mom was from a low-income family, and she didn't have a coat a lot of years. And now that she's with my father, and they're retired now, but she used to donate 5 coats a year to kids anonymously because they had to stay warm, man. So I appreciate that. I never had to go through that because my mom went through that and she worked to not go through that. So I understand it, and I really appreciate what you're doing, and this is a great cause. And I don't know, man. I can't believe, like, on a personal note for us, for the show and stuff, like, it's just so cool talking to people like you, that have lived the game and give back to the communities, and to see all the people here that just like connect with it. It's amazing, man. And thank you so much.
Yeah, it really is. And like you're saying about your mom in the story and how things affect you. I just want to tell you my backstory real quick, because I think it's kind of important. Like you said, your mom grew up without a coat, so she gives coats out. I grew up poor, had, basic necessities. I have pants, shirts, but I didn't have name brand. I didn't have the name brand shoes. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. And so I felt sorry for myself. I had enough clothes to wear to school every week, but I wore the same thing every week, and it didn't hit me. And it was football that changed my life. I got selected to the All-Star game in Wisconsin, which usually kids from the inner city schools never get selected to the All-Star game. Just didn't happen, no matter how good you were. Back then it was pretty racially divided.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach wrote a nice letter, and and it was one of those letters where he was just point blank with them and said, he said what he said is what he said. I was like, when I read what he said, my face went.
You could say that.
I'm like, he just didn't do that, and so, but he did it, and I got selected for the All-Star game. And the All-Star game, we went to the Shriners Hospital because it was put on by the Shriners, but it was in Chicago because we didn't have one in Wisconsin. We went to that hospital. Those kids in there, some would never walk. Some will walk, but never run. Some will never throw a football. Okay. Technology today, yes, they may, things are a lot better than back then. But if you've seen the faces on those kids, when we went in there, you would have swore the kids thought the Chicago Bears were visiting them, because they were so happy that a bunch of punk high school football kids were there. And they picked 4 kids, 2 from the north and 2 from the south, to go visit kids that were severely, had more severe condition. And we went, I was one of those kids that were picked. And literally there's a kid in the bed where his rib chest is where his hips were.
Wow.
And you see this, and I thought to myself, we were supposed to go back and see one of the kids because he was asleep, but we didn't get a chance to go back. And we get back on the bus. We go back and we have to write about our experience. So I'm crying as I'm writing about my experience, because I'm so selfish about not having 2 or 3 pair of shoes. I don't have Nikes, I got the name brand from Walmart or Kmart at that point in time. And I'm complaining about that. And these kids who don't have nowhere near the ability that I have and can do the things that I can do, smiling at me, clapping for me, happy to meet me. And from then, that's what changed me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I went to college, I got involved with the Special Olympics. So I was involved with the Special Olympics through high school. And then when I got in Buffalo with the Special Olympics, the Lothlorien Therapeutic Arise Association, the Blind Association, Western New York United Against Drug and Alcohol, and just so many other little things, because at that point in time, I had a platform and I can help them. And, that's what got me started. It's that little thing that, you have to realize that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us, and that's the reason I wanted to start my one group, because, we can do so much good for people, and I'm only good as my people who are with me, and we're doing what we can do because we all believe that we can help someone. You know, I try to on my page, we make Tuesday about being thankful for something. So if you're thankful for something, write it down. Something, someone. Wednesday is wishful Wednesday. If you wish something good for someone, you wish something, for something or just something to go better, you do it. Throwback selfies, we throw back all Bill's memorabilia. Friday is Favor Friday. Write a story about something that you did for someone. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small. Taking a cart back, smiling, saying hello, holding the door, just something small so that someone notices that they're noticed. Because today with mental health issues and all this stuff going on, you never know by you saying hello and smiling to someone that person walking around feeling that they're never noticed. And all of a sudden you pop off and say, hey, how you doing? And they're like, whoa, wait a second. Someone noticed me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I am relevant, and so we do that on Friday, and it is just really good to read stories about good, trying to put more positive out in the world. Mm-hmm. I had one guy say, you should be humble and da-da-da-da-da, and you don't need to be posting this. I'm like, if anyone in this room is posting because they want some accolades from it, they don't need to be in this room. But the reason we're doing it is because positive stories that people read, because we don't know what anybody in our group is going through. Right. But they read the story, and once they read the story, it's like, wow, it can turn their day around, turn their mood around. And that's what it's about, putting more positive out there. And that's what we're trying to do.
Mark, and that does two things. Because when you start making yourself write down something or think about something out loud or telling someone something else, either you're acknowledging that you are doing a good thing and it's a good feeling, or you're also acknowledging that you might not be doing that kind of stuff. And me personally, if I was told to write down everything, think about something what you're thankful for today. Think about something what you're did you say something nice to someone today? And if that day that I can't remember saying something nice, then that's something on me. That's putting it in perspective for myself. That's putting in accountability on myself. Maybe I should start doing stuff like that. And it's wonderful that you brought that up, because when you started saying that's the first thing I thought. Writing it down is awesome because it makes you think about it. But if you're not writing that down, you're not doing it. You should start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something as simple as a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Just the small things in life that you see happening around you. If you take notice and you notice them and take them in and realize that, oh, I just saw a person walk by, I said hello, and they said hello back. That changed their path for the rest of the day.
Yep.
So even though you might sit there and go, oh, I don't remember doing anything that was positive to anybody, did you smile at somebody or say hi? That might have been enough.
Yep.
Well, all that stuff is infectious
when,
too,
it's so funny when my son comes home from school. The first question I asked him, what made you smile today?
Right.
That's the first question I asked him. Not how was your day? Not what did you do? Not who did you play with? What did you have for lunch? What made you smile today? What made you happy today?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to hear recess again.
What a great approach, because I do that with all my kids is how was your day? Immediately. Yep. If they have a bad day, they're going to go right to it. But if you say, what made you smile today? That's going to get them in that right frame of mind.
Yep.
Recess and that Reese's you gave me at lunch.
All right, guys, listen, our Buffalo Bills are traveling down to Florida to take on those Jacksonville Jaguars 1-6. We are 5-2 currently. Let's hope that next Tuesday when we talk on the Kager Report Season 2, Episode 36, that the Bills are 6-2. Have a great weekend, everybody. Mark, thanks for joining us tonight. We loved it. Again, if you want to come back anytime, let us know. We'll set something up. And, guys, have a good week. Go Bills.
Thanks, Mark. Go Bills.
Yeah, thank you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
is a dangerous group that